Hi ladies, I'm going to be talking to you about different types of exercise this week, and the first one I want to talk to you about in this video is aerobics. So aerobics type classes that you might do at a gym, and I'm also going to include into this HIT training, which stands for high intensity interval training, and Tabata, which is a form of high intensity interval training. So all of these things are classes usually that are designed to get you working in an aerobic capacity, which means that you're burning oxygen. Typically you're getting quite out of breath when you do this, and they can be kind of quite hot and sweaty, very active kind of classes. So they tend to be quite popular with people who are aiming for weight loss and fat loss, because there's a perceived idea that if we're running and jumping around a lot and we're moving a lot and we're getting sweaty, then it must be doing us good, yeah, and we must be burning lots of calories. And it can be true, it can burn quite a few calories relative to other forms of exercise, but that doesn't necessarily make it the best choice. So I'm going to start off with some of the cons, the negative aspects of it. I'll talk to you about some of the advantages of it, and whether or not I think it's a good idea. So it is a high intensity exercise. If you're doing the HIIT or you're doing the Tabata, it is literally maximum effort for very, very short periods. Normally bursts, Tabata is usually bursts of about 20 seconds with a 10-second rest. High intensity could be anything up to probably about a minute of working at almost all out maximal effort. So that could be a risk if you have high blood pressure, for example. Okay, you could start to raise your blood pressure even higher, which then might make you feel giddy, weak, nauseous, things like that. It could raise your blood pressure up to more dangerous levels. So that's definitely a risk, one to watch out for if you've been told by your doctor that you have high blood pressure. The nature of it, because it's done at speed, it's done quick, it's pretty much a kind of go, more kind of an exercise, that can encourage poor form. So in your desperation to get more work in, more reps done in your minute or whatever it is, you may find that actually the reps that you're doing are not very good, and could potentially be unsafe, loading pressures into areas of your body that might not be such a good thing. For example, into the lower back, excessive force on the knees, even into shoulders, elbows, depending on what you're doing. So the increased speed could cause a loss of form, which could then increase your injury risk. Again, the nature and one of the biggest selling points, particularly of HIIT training and of Tabata, is that they're very, very short workouts. So they're quite often billed as something that you can do in your lunch hour, for example. Typically a Tabata workout would be 20 minutes. And even when you look at them on YouTube, things like that, quite often they do this 20-minute workout every day, do this 30-minute workout. The reason, or one of the reasons that it's 20 minutes is because there's no warm-up, there's no cool-down. And that can be quite risky if you're doing a very intense workout and you're not actually prepping the body for it before you start. So you're not getting your heart rate up gradually, you're going to bring it up very, very quick, which again, especially if you've got high blood pressure, could be a risk. And you're also, again, going to be prone to injuries because you haven't warmed your muscles and your joints up. Okay, the reason that we do a warm-up at the beginning of an exercise session is to prime the muscles, to prime the joints. Joints like your knees, your elbows, your shoulders have what we call synovial fluid in, and that's like, it's almost like oil in a car. So when the car hasn't been used and the oil is cold, it's very thick, very gooey, very gunky. It doesn't flow very well. Once the car warms up, the engine's warmed up, the oil is much more liquefied and it runs through the engine a lot better. This is what happens in our synovial joints with our synovial fluid. So when we get warmed up, that fluid liquefies a little bit and it better protects our joints for our movements. So no warm up, no cool down could be a problem. Okay. Heightened stress response. So again, particularly with the more intense the Hiit and the Tabata, but even with the aerobics, particularly if you're doing them a lot. So if you're doing them every day, an aerobic workout every morning before you go to work, every lunchtime and your lunch break, whatever it is, that can actually heighten your stress response, raise your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and that in turn, when your cortisol is elevated, can cause weight gain. Okay. It can also increase your fight and flight response. Okay. And it's been known, especially through the Hiit workouts and things like that, to cause anxiety-like symptoms. So things like trouble relaxing or unwinding. You may get the jitters. You may actually feel your heart rate pacing and pounding long after you've completed the workout. You might find that you've got a little bit of loss of focus or a little bit of brain fog. So those are definitely things to watch out for when doing those types of workouts, particularly if you're doing a lot of them. So that's the negatives. What are the positives? So there's got to be some, right? There's got to be. Why do people do them? It has been linked through studies as one of the better forms of exercise for fat loss, because it does put you in that fat burning zone when you're working out. And you also get what we call a phenomenon known as EPOC, which is excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Long words. What that means is that long after you've finished the workout, your body is still using more oxygen to recover and to repair muscle damage, to restore the body back to normal homeostasis, normal balance. And whilst it's doing that, it's actually using quite a lot of energy. So long after you've finished the workout, you're actually still burning more calories than you would have been if you hadn't done the workout. So there's a long after effect. That's called EPOC, E-P-O-C. So that's a great benefit. Obviously, the fact that the workouts were short is a great benefit. So as I said, you can do them before work, you can do them in your lunch hour, you can do them when you get home. You know, they're quite easy to squeeze in. Some of them are even less than 20 minutes. So it's great for a really, really quick workout. Get your heart rate up, bust out that workout, and we get on with the day. So great selling point. And it's very, very good for your cardiovascular health. So despite saying that it could be a risk if you've got high blood pressure, if you don't have high blood pressure and you're otherwise healthy, it's a great way to improve your cardiovascular health, because you are getting out of breath. So you're making your lungs work hard, you're making your heart work hard, and all of your cardiovascular system, which is all of your arteries and your veins and all of those kind of things. And so that it will develop those, just as it will develop any other muscles in your body, and make you more efficient at using oxygen and supplying oxygen to your muscles, so that you'll be able to work out longer, harder, faster. And that translates then into lowering your risk for heart disease, for diabetes, stroke, things like that, long term, or all-cause mortalities, as it's known, which is all the ways that we might possibly die, basically. So it improves all of the risk factors for that kind of stuff. Another benefit is that it's actually been shown in studies to suppress appetite. So unlike some other forms of exercise, some more what we call long, slow, steady state cardio, which can actually increase your hunger. You know, you go for a run or swimming as well as another one. You come out of the swimming pool, my God, you feel like you can eat a house. But yeah, aerobic HIIT style training has actually been shown to suppress appetite, and so you may actually find that you eat less as a result of doing those workouts. So that's a good benefit. So pros and cons. My personal opinion on these kind of workouts, aerobic exercise, I think is probably quite good. It's probably suitable for most people, and it can be adapted to different levels as well, so it can be progressed or regressed to suit your abilities. And I don't think there's too many people that I would advise against aerobic exercise in itself. HIIT exercise, high intensity interval training, Tabata, I would not recommend for anyone other than someone who is already pretty fit, has got good levels of endurance, good levels of strength, balance, proprioception, all of those kind of things, and who's probably already involved in other forms of exercise and activity, and is maybe looking at a way to just get that extra little boost to up their cardio systems just a little bit more. So if you're quite athletic already, I might say yes. I would still only recommend that you do it 1 to 2 times a week max, because anything past that, we could be starting to elevate stress levels, cortisol levels, and it could actually then have detrimental effects brought on by the stress, and will increase risk of injuries and things like that. So beginners, no. Athletes, yes. Beginners, stick with the aerobics, and you can include in that even water aerobics as well. Anything that gets your heart rate up is generally a good thing, so long as it's managed, and we're aware of any risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that. Okay, so let me know what you think. Let me know, do you enjoy aerobics? Have you tried any classes? Do you do it maybe online? Even did you do Joe Wicks during lockdown, because there's a bit of aerobics going on in there? Have you tried HIIT workouts? Have you tried Tabata? How did you get on? Did you like it? Is it something you'd do again? Let me know.